holidays, shall we? When you head on holiday, do you manage to switch off completely or not? New research shows that while 9 in 10 British travellers want to switch off from their phones on holiday, actually almost half of us think going fully offline is just a little bit too extreme. Despite 88% of us wanting to use our phones less, this is quite shocking. Only 8% actually manage a complete and utter digital detox. The research shows that traditional wellness retreats, whether it's spas, meditation sessions, even silent breakfast, I never heard of that, aren't really hitting the mark anymore, with only a quarter of travellers saying those trips leave them feeling refreshed. Well, I feel like we need to speak to the main man who knows more. I'm joined in the studio with friend of Radio London. He's co-founder and CMO of Flashpack. It's Lee Thompson. Great to have you back on the show, Lee.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is quite something. What's your thoughts on digital detox? Can we ever really do that?
Well, I come at this from two perspectives. My own personal self, I'm going to really struggle with a digital detox.
Yeah, me too.
But I run a business and we've launched digital detoxing because it's important.
Okay.
The reason I think it's important, and I'll come into some of the stats in a minute, is because I think we've lost the art of being present.
Yeah, interesting. Because when you're saying being present, that means literally like you and I now, totally locked in on our conversation, not looking at anything around us, including our phones. That's what you're referring to here.
Yeah, and not like, honestly, talking about myself here, getting the itch to look at your phone.
Yeah.
It's like an addiction, surely. It's like, I think most...
I agree.
Yeah.
For me, it is. Sometimes my husband will point it out in the car and I'll be like, why are you looking at your phone? And I didn't even realise that I'm doing it.
I'm embarrassed to admit how much I think about my phone when I'm not on it. And I find myself reaching for it during occasions where I really should be all in and being present. And where it really gets me the most emotional, I think, is thinking about my 7-year-old daughter.
Okay.
And sometimes, if you're playing, you really want to be all in, but sometimes I can feel my mind just drifting and reaching for my phone. And that's something I really want to get to grips with personally.
It's firstly, I commend you for saying that,
Yeah.
because I guarantee there's going to be Londoners tuned in who feel the same. So in that sense, you're not the only one. But then when you add into the mix going away, like as I was mentioning in my introduction, it's Easter holidays in a couple of weeks, and I'm certain there will be families, whether they are travelling up north, maybe they're going to different parts of the country, or they're going abroad. Part of that will be to spend some time with the kids, with the family. But phones can be such a bugbear, can't they?
They can. And check this out, right? So Londoners in particular, we spend 123 minutes on our phone during holiday per day.
123 minutes.
So if you
per
work that out,
day.
if you go on a classic 2-week holiday over the Easter period, it's more than a day.
Wow.
A day scrolling on your phone. Again, I include myself in this statistic. I go there thinking I'm going to stay off my phone. But you end up like, if you're on a sun lounger, I just find myself just thinking more.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for me, that means reaching for my phone.
For the phone.
Like the majority of Londoners.
It's a really important point you make, that we are so connected to our phones. But I would say when you're on holiday, I mean, I always need my phone because I'm taking photos. My phone is my camera, and maybe there's something to be said in actually just buying a separate camera. Well, like one of my friends now, she's got a beautiful newborn baby, and rather than using the phone, she just used Polaroids, which I think is so cool because it's present, it's in the moment, and she's not using the phone.
That's very cool.
Why is it important for us to digitally detox?
Really, it's about being present. It's about, have you ever tried going phone free for a bit? Like, have you ever just consciously,
Maybe for like a day, but not, I couldn't like do a weekend or something like that. I'd go mad.
It's hard, but you see, I mean, not that I've done it very often, but when I have, you see and hear things that I don't think I would normally see.
Okay.
And it's funny because I've travelled to over 100 countries, done some crazy stuff in my last job. I used to cover war zones and done all the adventurous stuff, jump out of a plane, all that. But I would find the most challenging thing that would take me out of my comfort zone to switch off and turn off my phone. It's become the hardest thing that I personally could do. And I think people would find it really difficult. I think that's why it's important. We've become addicted to our phones. And to be quite frank, holidays in particular can be more joyful when you're able to switch off and go all in.
Well, absolutely.
And that's the reason why it's important.
What else has the research found that you wanted to share as well? Because I think this kind of, hopefully, in some sense, it's very sobering, hearing what you're talking about. But ahead of Easter holidays, summer holidays as well, maybe this is going to make a lot of Londoners think more consciously about their phone use. So what else have you found? Yeah,
well, it aligns to what we've just been talking about, but about 46% would find going phone free on holiday extreme. They would see that as like, whoa, what are you doing?
Can't do this, yeah.
And it's actually for that reason at Flashpack we've launched these wellbeing trips. We've called it wellbeing, not wellness. It's not like yoga and stuff like that. It's more mindfulness, breath work, sensory experiences, the food, the vibes that we've got. And basically we go to such unique remote parts of the world that you're completely switched off. There's hardly any internet.
Okay.
So we've gone extreme.
So you're getting forced. You haven't got a choice, have you?
No. So we're forcing your hand. I'm going on it actually.
Really?
I'm going one to Ecuador with this Amazonian tribe and learning how to be happy in the Mayan way. And that does not consist of having my phone. So I'll come back and I'll share my learnings.
Will you please?
They don't have phones out there. So.
Yeah, clearly not. Yeah. And I mean, I'm very intrigued by that and what that process is going to be like. I know that Flashpack has launched, as you say, like this pause collection, these trips of kind of, they are really, as you say, they're knocking traditional wellness travel on their head. Do you think people are craving that right now?
I do. I really do. Are they thinking about it yet? I'm not so sure. I feel like, speaking for myself here, that we all know we need it. We know that we need that reset. It's a bit, honestly, it feels crazy saying this, but it's like any other addiction. If you're addicted to something, you need to be taken away from it for a bit. Yeah. So I think this, worry about extreme holiday is very, very much needed. I think I need that reset, as do most Londoners.
Let me ask you another thing then, because not everyone can go away together. What's your take on solo trips? Recently, I was speaking to a friend who she'd been wanting to go on a trip to South Africa for years, like 4 years. And the only thing that was stopping her was because she wanted to go with one of her friends and no one was ever free. And so she finally just thought, well, why don't I just go solo? And she had the best time. She went for 2 weeks, ended up meeting people there, had an amazing time. And now she said that she wants to do more solo trips. What would you say to anyone who, just with the hustle and bustle of life living in London, and if you are, let's say, a family, it's really difficult, isn't it, to kind of get these big adventure trips out. What about solo trips?
What I've noticed is there are now more than ever unbelievable opportunities to meet other people when you get to cities. So just yesterday I was researching ways that I could do that in London, and there's all these community events that exist. You can go and learn new things. You can go and geek out over a book club. Yeah. Like literally once you go on one, you get hit by all of these different things on Instagram. I think if you're feeling confident enough to go travel solo, that is a brilliant way to go meet people, because it's different. If you're if you're 18, in your 20s, you can go to hostels, you're going to meet other people. If you get in your 30s and 40s, perhaps that becomes a bit more challenging to meet people. Maybe you want to stay in a nicer hotel, etc. So I think with these more community clubs and stuff, I think it'll take a bit of research, but I would love to go and do that. I haven't done that for ages, but it'd be very liberating, I should think.
And if anyone wants more details with Flashback and all that you are providing, what do they need to do then, Lee?
Well, you are very welcome to come and join me I'm going to Ecuador.
Okay.
I can't wait. I'm very excited. But you reach out to me and say hi. I'm on Flashpack Lee on Instagram.
Okay.
Other than that, just come check out our trips. We are all for solo travellers, but you join a group of like-minded solo travellers the same age as you, which... for time-poor, busy professionals in London, it just makes sense. It's a bit easier.
I couldn't agree with you more. Are you going to come back and let us know how the detox goes for you in terms of social media as well?
I am indeed. And just one last thing, just before I came on here, I looked at my screen time on my phone. Okay. I was going to put you on the spot and look at yours. Maybe you can do it later. Okay. 3 hours 23 a day I am.
Stop it. How do you look? Right, come on, tell me.
You go on your settings.
Right, let's do this now. Yeah. Settings. Right, I'm doing it now. Oh, I can't believe I'm about to share this on air. Okay, and what do I do?
Settings,
screen time.
You go on this bit and you scroll down to screen time. That's right.
Found it. Screen time. How long did you say?
3:23.
Oh no, this is so embarrassing. Producer Morgan said 1 hour 17.
Well, he's got it down.
Morgan's, yes. What is Freddie's screen time? Is Freddie having a look? Freddie doesn't want to share.
No, I understand that. I get that.
Oh, okay, Freddie. That says a lot about both of us because I don't want to share this either. So, producer Morgan, 1 hour 17.
Yeah, 3:23.
Lee, 3:23.
Yeah.
My average screen time oh God.
Sorry, I've well put you on the spot here.
It's 3 hours and 38 minutes.
Oh, you win. Congratulations.
Thanks, Lee. That's embarrassing. It's nearly 4 hours. I'm closer to 4 hours, guys.
No invite for me back here.
Oh, gosh. I mean, yeah, you will be welcome back anytime, Lee.
Research.
It's all research. That's what I'm going to put it down to. Lee, a pleasure having you on the show. Thanks for joining us.